Welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us in what is our second session of our Software as a Service applications webinar series. Today we're going to focus on 3 steps to developing your cloud adoption strategy. As I mentioned, this is session 2. Session 1, if you want to get a copy of the recording we took at the time, please feel free to email us at info@inoapps.com and we will send you a link to a recorded copy of session 1. Session 3, coming up after this, is around hybrid models, so coexistence of on-prem and cloud functionality. And session 4, one of the most popular sessions we run, is around reporting options in the cloud, be it finance or HR. And then finally, in terms of what happens after you've gone live, what to expect, what does BAU look like, and how do you get your business ready for the model of software as a service after you've gone live and been able to take advantage of the regular updates. Plus also you need to change your support model. The sort of support people you need are functional type people more than technical type people. Because a lot of the infrastructure, a lot of the keeping the lights on is passed on to your SaaS vendor, such as Oracle. My name is Phil Wilson, SVP in Inoapps. Been in the market for over 25 years implementing ERP and HCM solutions. More latterly, my focus has been on helping customers move from on-prem solutions to cloud for the last 5 or 6 years. So, as always, these sessions are designed to be 30-minute information slots to help you understand more about the maturity of the market, understand what customers are looking to do and how they've achieved success. Hopefully find it useful. If there's any feedback, please email us at info@inoapps.com. You'll also get a poll at the end of the session. Please again feel free to complete that feedback. And also, if you've got questions during the session, you'll have the ability to request those through your control panel, which is either at the right hand side of your screen as you're looking at it currently, or if you're on a tablet device, it'll be somewhere towards the top of the screen. So just a general background. So where are we today? So the Oracle SaaS offering has been maturing significantly over the last few years, with multiple releases of different software for different solution areas, and today it's probably one of the most complete all cloud services that you'll find in the marketplace. So to touch on a few areas, so ERPs, HCM and CX, so finance, procurement, inventory, manufacturing, HR around global HR management, talent management, recruitment, and developing people, plus all the CX stuff, so the sales, the marketing and the service, now fully deployed in a cloud model, fully integrated, multiple versions of each one, so none of them are early versions of the software. And then also to complement that are a number of other cloud services that have been released, such as Hyperion. So PPCS is out there, and actually we're seeing a deployment of PPCS a lot more as a consequence of buying an ERP solution, because the cost point of PPCS makes it an add-on to what we currently do, as well as people procuring PPCS to fix a specific business issues that's a lot more targeted at a solution in their market space. Trends, much more rapid implementations. What we're seeing now is initial deployments or initial implementations now taking between 4 to 6 months. We're seeing people drive reporting to the end user, so using the latest generation of BI tools. We're seeing that the customers that are taking the solution are actually allowing the end users to get access to those tools to do their own data analysis, still leaving the understanding and control in a central location potentially, but allowing the users to actually start to think about how they can make use of the data you're capturing. More adoption of standard processes, so The system comes as a highly configurable solution in all areas. But obviously, being SaaS, the ability you had to take that and customize it, which meant that you became locked out of upgrades from a cost perspective if you weren't careful. Obviously, Oracle have to now limit those, and therefore you're driven much more to standard processes, which we think is a good thing, because you're bringing your software in line with future product, which means you can take on new releases as and when they become available. And complexity. So again, we've seen a lot of extensions that have introduced complexity to the solution that just wasn't needed or was a historic requirement within the business. And this allows you to come back to more standard software, standard processes, and actually making use of the information you're capturing through the reporting. So the agenda today is quickly going to touch on, is your organization ready to make the journey to cloud? So what are the drivers, what are the benefits, etc. Then we're going to talk a bit about some tips and tricks for successful migration. We'll touch on these quite lightly, but have some interesting ideas and innovation in there. And then finally talk a bit about building out your business case. Most people will either be looking at trying to look at how you justify or put together a business case about moving to cloud, or be in the process. And again, we've got some ideas to share with you about what we've seen in other companies. So is your organization ready? I guess one of the things we always say is look at the drivers, look at what people want. So do you have a set of hardware that's becoming towards end of life? So you're going to have to go through a process of refreshing it at some point. Have you got constraints because of budget around capital expenditure? Obviously, subscription as a service can be taken on an OPEX basis rather than a CAPEX basis. Do you have staff working remotely? In a cloud deployment, you've got much more ability for people to access the solution from any location that's got an internet browser. Is 24/7 support important to your organization? Oracle is a 24/7 SaaS provider. If they take away the need for you to have internally or a third party expensive 24/7 technical support for keeping the lights on, then that's a very positive thing we see. And there's a number of other examples there as well. From a technical perspective, do you have highly variable workloads? One of the benefits of a SaaS environment is that you can turn it up or turn it down depending on where you are in your cycle of variable workloads. Do you need automatic infrastructure scaling and provisioning? So as your business grows, rather than go out and buy new hardware, you can just switch on or consume more performance or more disk space or more memory, etc. IT security. So have you faced, and this is quite a relevant one, have you faced any issues around IT security? Oracle do this for many large global customers through to mid-sized customers through to SME type businesses. Their business is all about IT. Their business is all about storing data and making it available to people. They will know better than anybody how to build up an IT security infrastructure. So again, taking that pain away from you, putting it onto the third party. Why do it? And again, I'm just picking out some examples. So bring agility and efficiency to support your company growth. Now that you're restricted in terms of some of the customizations that you can do, you get out of what was quite commonly began to develop, which was a trap situation, where because of the high complexity, high customization people would do, going through upgrades became a massive cost and actually a showstopper, which meant that the companies would typically go for many releases before going through an upgrade. And the whole reason for an upgrade is to have the ability to consume the latest technology, the latest functionality. The next thing to look at is bring agility and efficiency to your support organization. Look at new generation tools such as within cloud, such as mobile, such as BI, social, etc., and try and take some benefit and efficiency from those. And then get the latest generation of ERP minimal effort. So as I said, take advantage of the functionality that's available in later releases. Consume it as a service. Other areas, and these all can go in your business case, all go in the review that we typically see people doing in terms of being able to say whether they're ready or not. So, reduce OpEx costs. So one of the things we're seeing is that if you go from on-prem to cloud, some of the OpEx costs actually reduce because you haven't got the overheads, you haven't got the ongoing costs that you typically used to have with hardware. Reduce TCO. So I'll talk a bit about TCO and some examples later. But your business is not an IT, typically, unless you're in the industry, your business is not an IT company. So it's non-business strategic costs that you're incurring if you are the people that are taking the responsibility for keeping the lights on. Benefits, obviously get up and running quickly. Absolutely make more informed data-driven business decisions by the fact that you've given or empowered the end users to use the data. Eliminate the need for expensive customizations, automatic upgrades. You're always on the latest version, which means that if Oracle develop a new bit of functionality that they bought in standard product, that you can take that at the next scheduled window after you've done the relevant testing, etc., if it's advantageous to you. Consistent processes across all global locations, and get up and running quickly with less upfront costs and investment risks. So as mentioned earlier, implementations seem to be a lot shorter generally, and also people are coming back very quickly afterwards to take and look at what's next, which is not what used to happen with the on-premise type solutions. So tips and tricks for successful migration. A few ideas here. So you need to think about cloud slightly differently. You need to think about cloud as a business transformation type product, so an alignment type activity where you'll need to identify your policy and your outputs and align that to your business architecture. And then that conversely will come back and allow you to align with the standard processes to regulatory statutory requirements, and also you need to reduce your risk. So make it much more of a consumable type activity. The catalyst for this sort of change is the move to cloud, and in line with what I mentioned earlier, this should not be seen as a technology project. This should be seen as a business improvement initiative. So you need to become aligned to what your policies are, what the standard processes are, and bringing the people inside that change. We'll be running a very specific session on transformation / change management over the coming weeks. We'll advertise that as soon as we've got confirmed dates, and we'll go into the difference between a change cloud project and a technology project, and some of the things you should identify to take best advantage, and some of the areas that you're probably not considered typically in an old style project of this nature. One of the things you see customers doing is undertaking a review. So quite obviously in the new world in cloud, whilst the products are mature, there may well still be gaps in the solution where on-prem had a solution, had a product, or you integrated to a third-party product. Obviously in cloud you need to identify exactly what the solution is you're trying to achieve and identify what the coverage is of that solution. If you find a gap, it could be that there's again a standard integration to another cloud product. There could be a roadmap for that product coming to market through Oracle, or alternatively, one of the things we've seen people doing is look for an extension based upon a cloud platform as a service, which means you're still in one Oracle cloud with the extension because it's so niche to your industry, for example, so no one's going to bring that to market. One of the things we want to drive out the back of the readiness assessment is an indicative ROI or benefit statement. And again, What I would say is every single readiness assessment is different. We've got a standard package, which is about a quick few days, no charge, come in, help you go through these steps very quickly. And we have a package which is much more detailed. So we actually do a full return on investment calculation, we do a full assessment, and we actually do quite a lot of work looking at where we believe the business benefits and the change benefits are going to be. And again, we have people in the middle that want to, look at different forms of a readiness assessment, but in principle, people are beginning to invest time and money into doing readiness type assessments. And if you want to talk to us any more about those, then please feel free to email us at info@inoapps.com. In terms of innovation in moving to cloud, we've seen a number of projects where they've thrown away the investment they've made in the configuration they've currently got of their current systems. In some cases this is good because maybe it was implemented many years ago, is not in line with the business requirements now, but actually a lot of people either implemented more recently or have kept the configuration in line with business requirements. So part of our ethos is, if it is not broken, if it's not if it's correct for the business in terms of your current application configuration, then actually save some time and let's look at reusing some of that configuration rather than reinventing the same configuration decisions again. And there may be elements where some of it is relevant, some of it isn't relevant, and that's fine. Part of our ability in the tool set we have is to allow a transformation of that configuration as and when relevant. And again, it's the opportunity to tidy your data up. So that you may well have had a company that's no longer running, so you'll have an operating unit or part of the business that's not there. So this is the perfect time to take that out of your configuration. So don't just cut and paste, extract and look at how you can use that configuration and then load it into the application, into the new cloud application, with still the same sort of controls around, defining the scope, designing the solution, testing it, and then signing off. So this methodology is what we term as into cloud. What does it do? It's about leveraging the best things. So leveraging the previous configuration that you used to have. It's about configuration, not customization. It's about not re-engineering and reinvention. It's about minimizing that. It's about minimizing the business impact, because actually if people still understand that your chart of accounts is exactly the same as it used to be, it's going to be a lot easier from adoption process, and that ultimately reduces project risk. One of the things we've seen also is the speed we can do this is quite quick, because you are cutting out a number of stages of the project lifecycle, which means that we can get to the point where we've got rapid and predictable results. So as I mentioned, our approach for some cases where it fits is to extract and validate their current configuration, and we do that jointly, working very closely with the end customer, and then we reuse elements. So we reuse things like organizational structures, so chart of accounts, entity structure, etc. We look at reports and data outputs and identify, for the most common ones, where is there a direct map to something in cloud. And also we look at the interfaces. The interfaces are probably still going to be required for things such as banks, or if you've got a niche solution at the front end or to the side that we're not going to replace. The logic behind the interface is still stands. And then standardize. So look at where you maybe aren't taking advantage of new functionality, and look at how you can bring that in using standard business processes. So embedded throughout the application are standard business processes that allow you to consume new functionality very quickly. Obviously, people ask us about data. Again, we've got a tool and technology for data migration, which again we'll probably normally touch on during the readiness assessment. And different companies want different scenarios of data bringing over, and if you're not bringing it all over, where can you still access it? And we can talk to you about those in more detail. As I mentioned, there's feature-rich configuration tools within the technology, all web-enabled, and it allows us to be a lot more focused about making sure we've got all the relevant data in place. And actually, if that's an activity for someone to go and pull that data, it allows us to map who that person is and target end dates to do that. So, reuse is basically the message. Don't throw away what you've probably spent a lot of money investing in unless it really is completely not fit for purpose. I mentioned the ability to take standard processes. So here's an example of a standard business process. These are embedded all the way through the applications and at different levels in terms of screen level mapping through to process level mapping. And again, quite happy to share these with you at any time. What we do here is, obviously, if we're starting from scratch, we'll use these as the basis for the design workshops. If we're starting from a reuse case, then we'll still bring these to the table and make sure you understand how the system works. But also we will use this to look at new functionality, and if it's something that you always had an aspiration to do but couldn't because you were restricted because you were stuck on an old release, then we'll push you towards these standard business flows to help the process. So you've gone through an assessment, you've gone through the point at which you understood the drivers and understood the need to move to cloud. I've spoken a bit about readiness assessments. I've spoken a little bit about reuse and approaches to migrate to cloud, and we can go into these in a lot more detail if people want to on a one-to-one basis. The last thing, obviously, it can be done as part of the readiness assessment or a separate exercise, is look at building your business case. So within a business case, the key aspects are, what does good look like, understanding what you're trying to achieve, because you need to articulate that in the business case. So is the desired outcome a strategic fit, a strategic environment, and also a detailed description of what the business needs are, and then also start to pull together a scope. Understand the challenges or obstacles that may prevent success, so knowing what you've got in your business and some of the drivers in your business, be aware of some of the obstacles. Inspire confidence in achieving success, robust and structured approach. So again, standard process flows, standard way of doing this, drive people back to standard business processes will help you build confidence in achieving success within a project of this nature. So once you've built your business needs and desired outcomes, you can do some preliminary options analysis. So look at your criteria for evaluation, list out all the possible options that you have in terms of that migration to cloud, how you're going to then evaluate those, and puts together some rationale for discounted and viable options. So if you're looking at 3 or 4 solution maps or 3 or 4 different vendors, then understand what it is that's going to make you able to take a decision that you want to go with option A, B, and C and not F. In terms of viable options, obviously, it's quite obvious. It's about cost. It's about cost-benefit analysis. It's about benchmark in terms of what's the product like in terms of maturity and performance and usability. Look at alignment to your business. Look at risk and how any option might reduce your risk. Then put together justification recommendation. So the business case should talk about what you want to desire, so what's the outcome, talk about how you're going to analyze it, talk about how you're going to validate which one is good and what's good and what's bad, which comes back to what does good look like, and put together a comparison summary and put forward normally a preferred option or preferred options. So that's all about analysis and recommendation, which is step 2 in the life cycle. Step 3 is about management and capacity. So once you've made that commitment, make sure you make the most out of it in terms of not losing where you set out in terms of your strategic context, your desired outcomes, And that's about government and oversight, it's about project management, it's about risk management, it's about and change management. So when you're putting your business case together, these are typically the things that we would see people wanting to drive in each of these steps within the business case model. One of the other things that we get asked quite a lot is, and each customer is different, but one of the things we get asked is how do you put into a value the business benefits? And again, we've built and shared a couple of models here around what we see as market standards in terms of benchmarking benefits driven through, in this example, HCM projects and an EPM project. So if you look at the HCM side of things, in our model, we're saying the software support and upgrade cost drops by 25%. Employee turnover, because you're investing in a people management solution, drops by 2.5%. Staff productivity up by 2.5%. And all of these you can relate and monetize. And similar sort of projections, market trends that we're seeing in terms of EPM. So EPM being the Hyperion product set, or Planning and Budgeting Cloud Service. We have these for all the modules, so for ERP, manufacturing, etc. If you want to see those for the other solution focuses, feel free to email me at phil.wilson@inoapps.com or info@inoapps.com. So hopefully that's been, as I said, these are meant to be small 30-minute sessions to talk a bit about functionality that's out there and some of the market trends and some of what's happening out in the market space. Just in terms of positioning who Inoapps are, obviously global partner, been doing cloud for many years. Probably one of the most customers live on cloud globally than any of the other people out there. So I think we've got some knowledge base to share with people. We actually use the software ourselves as well, and obviously we've got global locations. So I think one of the things we want to do through these sessions is to start to share with you what we're seeing, what's coming up in the market, and also experience. So hopefully that's been a useful session. Thank you very much for all attending. If you've got any questions, please feel free to email us at info@inoapps.com or ask them through I can see there's been a couple through the dialogue as we've been going through this webinar. We will share the responses to those where it's a generic question. Also feel free, we use social media quite a lot to talk a bit about what we're doing in the market space, so please feel free to follow us on Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever social media platforms. Hopefully it's been useful, and many thanks for your attendance.